Let's go!
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of Pace Pals. We're going to be covering each of the qualifying weekends for Pace as we lead into the live finals in Laurel, Maryland in June. We just wrapped up the very first weekend. I'm Geo Gringo. I'm here with Zeas44. How you doing, Zeas?
I am doing great, Geo. I'm excited to be making these videos. I feel like there hasn't really been a lot of things like this in the community. I know people that I've been talking to about this are pretty excited about it. They're like, man, that's a really cool idea. We have the blessings of GSA, so I'm excited to see where this goes.
Oh, man, I'm right there with you. I'm so excited about this. It has been, I'd call it a passion project.
Sure.
I'd put it at that level. I've been thinking about it pretty much nonstop the past, 2 weeks ago, I think is when I reached out to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thrilled about this. I've gotten a lot of, good feedback from the community as well. People seem to be excited about it. Seems like this kind of thing doesn't exist. And so hopefully it can kind of fill that void and people are going to enjoy our takes, enjoy our recaps of these events. And it creates a little more hype around Pace. Just a phenomenal event, really cool event. This weekend was awesome, jam-packed with great runs, amazing pacers, and yeah, I'm looking forward to diving into it with you.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a lot of fun because not only is it our perspectives, Geo, but it's also we're going to be getting interviews from people who are participating in the qualifiers every round. We're going to get interviews from people who are commentating these qualifiers. So we're going to get a lot of different, unique perspectives from a lot of people in the community, just about the whole event, their performance, things that they were surprised by, things that they weren't surprised by, maybe. It's just going to be really sick. It's going to be a really sick time.
That's exactly right. And but we'll be sitting down with Cheese, Kally, and It's Beeve. All three of them participated in runs this weekend. Beeve was also in the booth a couple of times, I believe. So we're going to get a great perspective from him, not only, on runs, the mentality it takes during these qualifiers, but also what it's like to be in the booth and to be that close to the action and calling it while it's happening. On that note, Zeas, you were in the booth too. Am I right?
I was in the booth on Saturday and Sunday this weekend.
How was that?
It was fun. I just love commentating Mario anyway. It's such a cool experience to be, like you said, for Beeve, kind of like right on the forefront of the action and just kind of seeing all these runs develop. And as the commentary block goes on, you kind of get more people starting runs and you see more familiar faces hop in, maybe some unfamiliar faces as well. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. I would definitely recommend it to anybody who can get themselves in the booth if you want to commentate for it. It's a lot of fun.
Love to hear that. How do you get yourself in the booth, in case anyone is wondering?
So the way that I ended up getting in there, I reached out to Milo and just kind of, expressed my interest. And, he asked me for a couple of, videos of me commentating, and that was that. So if you've ever commentated before and you want to give a shot and commentate some qualifiers in the future, maybe, throw your hat in the ring. Reach out to Milo. Just say, hey, I could commentate. I'm a good commentator. I could talk about Mario for a couple hours.
Love it. I mean, you should absolutely do it. Anyone out there who's wondering, why not? It's a great way to get involved with a really, really cool event. And who knows, maybe you'll find yourself in the booth live in Laurel, Maryland at the finals. Let's dive into the action. We should talk about the standings first, probably where they sit after the weekend. Obviously, we have Weegee in the top spot, taking away 20 points with the second fastest run of all time. It's incredible.
It's honestly, like, it's not like unbelievable because it's Weegee, but it's also unbelievable because, like, we didn't even get the first 137 in a live event. Like, we just skipped over that. Like, we completely just forgot about the 137, went right to the 136. And I feel like Weegee is just playing at such a high level right now that I'm not even surprised that this kind of time was on the board. But also, at the same time, a little bit surprised. I don't know. It's really hard to explain.
No, I 100% agree. It's like if I don't think there's a word for this, but it's like bittersweet, but for surprised and not surprised at the same time. Like it isn't unbelievable, but it also is unbelievable. It's Weegee. Nothing's unbelievable with Weegee.
Right.
Truly as cracked as it gets. But then it's also unbelievable because, like you said, we never even had a 137. We skipped right over it into a 136. And it's only, I mean, I know he has the world record, but that was a couple of weeks ago, I think, maybe 10 days ago. And he's still performing at that level, dropping another 136. We'll get more into it later. We'll dissect a little bit about that run. But just a phenomenal performance from Weegee. 20 points, well deserved. Number 2, it looks like we have GTM here. I would say that's a little surprising.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really saw it coming. As much as you might have seen Weegee's time coming, GTM also coming out with the 136.43 in the standings. It's incredible, man. You love to see it.
Did we get a frame count on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the speedrun.com mods need to review that one maybe a little bit closer. I think GTM's run might have been a little bit faster.
I mean, that's a heck of a 120 debut from our boy GTM. Well done. 17 points. No, she's taking second place with a 139.03. And we can talk a little more about this, but that gap from a 136.43 to a 139.03, I mean, we're talking 2 minutes and 20 seconds is huge. Mind-boggling. Huge. It's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy.
You talk about an event like this in past paces, like maybe, but like the gap between like first and fourth is maybe separated by like a good 40 seconds in total.
Yeah.
But to see first and second separated by over 2 minutes is shocking, like jarring almost. It's like, how did this happen? Like, this is crazy.
I mean, it really is just, like I said, I mean, it's mind-boggling. Like, it's hard. That's the part that I don't believe is that spread between first and second. And I think it is probably a little surprising we didn't have at least one 138 or better. She's obviously close with a 139.03, but I think it's a little surprising we didn't see anyone else drop a 138.
I feel like it's always a different vibe coming into events like these for a lot of the top runners. You definitely see a lot of them finish in that 139 range. But, 138s haven't been uncommon in past paces. I think the top time in the last pace was Liam's 138.03. I could be getting that number wrong, but it was like a 138.0x. So, I don't know, a little bit surprising that we didn't see any 138s for sure.
And then Punkay coming in third. That'll be 15 points for Punkay. Punkay with a 139.11, just 8 seconds behind Cheese. So it's interesting we have that massive gap from where Weegee is to anyone else. And then it looks, I mean, even the next few spots, Dowsky coming in fourth, the GTM second place is throwing me. Dowsky in fourth with, I got to do the conversion. We're going to give that 13 points.
Nice. Let's go.
139.23. And then Kally and Beast also with 139. So nothing in the 137 range, nothing in the 138 range. And then we have 5 runners in the 139 range. So definitely a little more clustered together at that point.
For sure. I mean, from round 1, I feel like you should kind of expect something like that. I mean, there is a whole month between qualifying rounds, so
right.
Who knows what the next round is going to produce? But I feel like it's pretty standard for like round 1 of a qualifier just to have these kinds of times on the board,
Yeah, no, I think that's probably right. Once we get out of the 139 range, we're still pretty clustered, but in the 140 range, we have BlueBob, Gothic, Jaquarium, Raisn, who we'll talk about more, but first runs on console, I believe.
Huge.
And just a phenomenal weekend. Just a performance all weekend from Raisn. Really well done. And they're going to all be getting points. BlueBob was in 7th to the last qualifying position with 9 points. And then each position after that drops down by a point. So they're all coming away with points. In the 141 range, we have Beeve. Paracusia had a 142.32. Failman Flow with a 142.55. Frostbite and Badronis bringing up the rear of getting points with a 143 and 144 times respectively.
just goes to show that, you know, you don't have to put up a super, super fantastic time. Like 7th place, a 140 still being a qualifying time is, I feel like that's really encouraging for a lot of the runners, especially those in like the 140, 141, 142 range. Like it still kind of proves that it's definitely possible to put some more points on the board for sure.
Oh, I think that's absolutely right. And it's important to know too. I mean, I feel like it can be easy to look at these standings and say, okay, you have your top 7 cut off after BlueBob, you know, they're not going to make it, but we don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of mix up within that middle area. The top will probably stay pretty consistent throughout, would be my guess. You and I will talk about our own predictions later on, and we can see if we disagree or not there. But I think we're going to see the middle get, you know, have a lot more change from qualifier round to qualifier round. And who knows, you could see somebody, you know, in the 10th spot. I mean, JQ had Pacers, true PB Pacers, not just event PBs. And, you know, we could see him jump up to the 7, 6, 5 scoring spot. Who knows? And put some major points on and qualify. So just because he finished in 9th after this weekend, don't count him out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, JQ has that 47 in 70 star. He is an extremely, extremely capable player. Very, very good at Mario, and can, like you said, definitely shoot himself up to that top 7. There is a very good chance that he could do that in the next 2 rounds.
I think that's right. So it'll be fun to see what kind of mix-up we have coming in. And I think that's actually, you know, something that I didn't appreciate coming into this is how exciting just finding those qualifiers are going to be. Obviously, we know what Weegee can do. We know what Cheese can do. We know what Puncay can do. Kally, too, and we have a really good idea, and Kally's been so consistent throughout these pace tournaments. But it'll be really fun to kind of see who's able to perform under pressure and steal those 6 or maybe 4, 5, 6, and 7 spots.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at some of these names, even in the top 20, even below the 15 mark. Like, I'm looking at some of these names. Wilco, Horror, like, could make a run at it. You never know.
I mean, DWhatever too. DWhatever, not the best weekend, unfortunately, for Dinner.
True.
At a 146.26, but we all know he's capable of more. You know, and if he has 2 good weekends in, you know, February and March, you know, he could be scoring based on this weekend's results. He can be scoring qualifying points, and depending on how the other positions shake out, Dinner's not out yet. Even though, you know, this weekend he finished in 22nd.
I mean, everyone knows how good at Mario DWhatever is. You know, former 70 star world record holder, like world's first 46. Like, he is very cracked at Mario 64, and I think with the proper like grinding and everything, he could definitely he could shoot himself up on the leaderboard for sure.
Couldn't agree more.
Probably
you can't count him out.
Definitely can't count him out. Could probably bop his PB. I want to say his PB is around like a 139, like I can't remember exactly. I should probably have this information like right in front of me, but I think it's like
that's right.
It's like a mid 139 or something like that.
So 3 months ago, I just pulled it up. I don't know this off the top of my head. I shouldn't have said that. I should have just played along with it and been like, I'm a brainiac. I'm so smart. 3 months ago, it looks like Dinner got a 139.07.
Oh, okay. So it's a low 139.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time. We see a real PB putting him into the 138s. I mean, look, that could be second place. You know, it's a lot of points. If he's able to play near that level, there's no reason he can't qualify.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, Denner's tried to qualify in past paces, I'm pretty sure. So he definitely maybe has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder that he wants to grind 120 a little bit harder and, you know, put up that 138. I mean, DWhatever not having a 138 is pretty surprising considering his skill. So, you know, I think he can cement himself up there. I think he could put himself in like a top 3, top 5 position on the leaderboard pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree, and I love the chip on his shoulder cliche. I will absolutely run with a narrative like that all day. Let's go.
We love the storylines. That's what it's all about.
Look, it's all about the narratives, man. Is there any truth to them? Doesn't matter as much.
It's about clicks, you know. All right, we can edit that one out. That's fine.
We'll relay that to the production team. Edit that one out.
We are the production team, Geo. What are you talking about, man?
That's just us later on. These are just notes. Should we dive into some of the specific runs?
I definitely would love to, because there's a lot to get into with these specific runs. There was a lot of, like you said, towards the beginning here, just a lot of really good runs throughout this entire weekend. And of course, as you mentioned, Weegee's 1:36.43, the second fastest run of all time. There was a lot going on there, and I feel like there's always going to be a lot going on in any world record pace run. So what about that run would you like to point out for you personally, Geo?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, world record paced run. I think it's important to focus on that. It was 22 seconds off of his world record, but I think it was 15 seconds behind his uptime. It was a 102. I don't know exactly what it was, in the teens, I think, which is just a bonkers uptime to have, let alone to have in a live event, an LTA. Sure. And then, going into Tippy, it was 1:35.54 best possible time. It's tough to call that, truly 1:35 pace, especially knowing the gauntlet that is Tippy and how much can go wrong there. I mean, obviously Carpetless comes to mind, but there's so much more than just Carpetless and Tippy. Everything is challenging. And when you're playing on that pace, not that I know, because I could only dream of that kind of pace.
Me too.
But the nerves you must be feeling. And it, Beav in the booth today made a really good point about how even the most trivial things become so challenging when you're dealing with those kind of nerves and playing with that adrenaline rush. So it's tough to call that a true 1:35 pace, but certainly that's world record pace. I don't think it's unbelievable to say, maybe you're losing 16 seconds on a really good Tippy off of your golds. And then world record was still alive, best possible time of 1:36.11 going into TTC. And then TTC is kind of what killed the world record, obviously not the run. But just a phenomenal run all around. I have a few, the three spots I kind of highlighted as far as time losses were DDD 100, TTM, and then SL. And I mean, DDD 100 is just such a brutal star. It's its own gauntlet, right? I mean, there's 100%. So much going on there. Swimming alone is also, I think, an underrated part of the game that's so challenging. And not even just like missing swims, but swimming truly optimally is so hard to do and be consistent. And on that 100 coin star, I mean, it really tests you, right? You got to all sorts of different angles. You're moving the camera around when you're doing those rings on that first section, and it's very precise to maximize your speed and keep as much momentum as possible. And he had a little bit of trouble with that. He missed a coin. He had to go back for it. I guess missed 2 coins. You're allowed to miss 1 coin without, going back for it. And then he missed front sub after I guess that would be the 7th red coin. Those were kind of the big time losses there in DDD 100. I mean, all three of these stages that I'm highlighting, I feel like they're all, or I guess splits, they're all insanely hard, right? TTM is just, it's hell. I mean, it's such a hard stage. Like everything can go wrong at any point. A little bit of trouble with 100 coins. He missed that last red before doing that little side flip dive, had to go back for it. He fell off the bridge during the 100. So a little bit of spaghetti during that 100 coin star. And then SL was just, it wasn't the best RNG. And then he missed the triple jump on the slope for Snowman's Head. I think he backed it up with Deep Freeze too. So, that's going to be like I don't know what it was exactly, but that's probably like between a 5 and 10 second time loss right there.
Definitely around that range, I would say. But yeah, it was, I mean, considering all of that, to have a run that is still in the 135s, kind of like you said, not exactly 135 possible, but in the 135s on best possible time, considering all of those mistakes, is just insane. Like a world record capable run still with all of that. And there's probably a lot more that happened throughout the run, maybe a lot more minor stuff. I don't want to make any bold predictions, Geo.
This feels like you're winding up for a bold prediction, but go on.
Could we potentially see the 135 during these qualifiers.
I mean,
maybe round 2.
One can dream, right?
One can dream. I mean, I don't know how hard Weegee's going to be grinding 120 star between the rounds of qualifiers. He could stop playing Mario for a couple weeks and then pretty much be right back to where he was 2 weeks prior. Like, he can just pick right back up where he left off. And it's going to be an amazing thing to witness, to see what he's able to do. But for now, for this run, the 136.43, mind-blowing stuff. And I just don't think anybody anticipated it happening this soon.
I mean, it's the best. I if we're going to see the 135, obviously that's a big if. And if we're, it'd be great to see it at any of the qualifiers, or even not the qualifiers. It would be even cooler if it happened at the live event. I mean, can you imagine?
Oh my goodness!
In person, getting the 135. I mean, that would be that's the storyline dream right there.
That would be the ultimate storyline. I don't think there is a better storyline that could be possible.
No, and, we've already established ourselves as storyline guys, so
of course.
That's what we have to root for.
We're always rooting for the storylines. That is the name of the game here.
So I have a question for you. I haven't followed his grind super closely. I've been pace palling it though, obviously. Like, I'll see the notifications leading up to the world record.
For sure.
And I'd pop in, and it was just like nonstop pacers, honestly. It feels like every single reset was a legitimate run. Obviously, Weegee's known for being incredibly reset heavy. Have you, and it would be great to get a chance to ask him this. Weegee, if you're watching, come on the show. We'd love to talk to you.
Of course.
Has he been less reset heavy over the past month or so, or is it just he's breaking through every time?
I definitely would say that he's been a little bit less reset heavy for sure. Just based on what I've noticed, like I've seen him, grind for the 137.35, and at that point he was very reset heavy. I remember him saying that he kind of felt that he needed like the perfect beginning, like perfect lobby basement kind of combination, because he didn't really feel super confident in his upstairs. But from what I can tell, I feel like he just gained a lot more confidence in his upstairs, and he's just going to let those runs continue, because I think he just feels a lot more confident in how he's playing late game. And yeah, he's definitely letting a lot of these runs develop, and I think it's going a long way for him, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. I think particularly in an LTA style event too. I think people don't realize how much lenience there is on a lot of their runs, and the speed run mentality is to judge mistakes so harshly. There's a tendency just to reset. In the grand scheme of things, they're minor time losses, but they're so frustrating, they're so tilting that you hit the reset button. In your case, maybe you power off the whole console and then power back on.
Come on, man. My broken ass console casting strays in the recap video, man. Oh my god.
I promise it wasn't the intention, but it was. I set myself up for it so nicely. I feel like I had to take the shot. I was wide open,
I respect it.
But I think you're right. Like, I think he is letting them develop a little more, and maybe it is confidence in the later game, but it's good to see. It'll be interesting to see that go forward, because, as we highlighted before, he has been more reset heavy, and in 2 of the pace qualifiers, I think they were qualifiers back in 2022, he did not have a completed run, just to kind of emphasize how reset heavy he is and how much of a perfectionist he is. And obviously if you're just gunning for the world record, that can pay off, because you're going to break through with, the 137.35 back before Carpetless, and now the 136.21. And I'm sure, I have no doubt he's not done, and I don't know what his end goals are, but he's 135 capable. It wouldn't surprise me, knowing how ambitious he is, and the type of perfectionist he is, if he isn't going to feel good until he gets the 135. But yeah, it's interesting to see that kind of shift and start to see it's like the floodgates have opened for pacers for him.
100%. That's actually a really good way to put it. It just kind of seems like everything's clicking right now. Everything's coming up Weegee. He's on a tear. And Cheese, who we're gonna talk to later, of course. There was a 120 runner named Nero back in the day who Cheese compared Weegee to and what he's doing in 120 star. Nero was somebody who was just so far above everyone else, not even necessarily doing like crazy stuff, just doing the things that everyone else is doing, but doing it just so much faster. It's a beautiful time to be a top 120 runner and a top 120 enjoyer right now. The category's in a good spot. The game's in a good spot for sure.
Are we in a golden age again?
We might be. I mean, there's a lot of people who are capable of dropping their PBs down by a significant portion. Crithlith, obviously worth mentioning, kind of flipping the whole game on its face right now, like introducing RTA viable Carpetless. Still very early. It is still very early, but the VC early route, the BLJ that you can do outside of the castle, like all of that is going to come to a head at some point. I think we might be in golden age territory right now for sure.
All right, I feel like we've discussed Weegee ad nauseum at this point. I mean, there's more to talk about always with Weegee. Come on the show. We'll talk to you. We have a million questions we can ask. I promise we won't ask you about VC early unless you want us
unless
to.
you want us, exactly. If you want to give some perspective on it, we'll gladly take the perspective.
100%. What other storylines stood out to you?
I think you know what? I think this one's kind of near and dear to my heart. Raisin's first 3 console runs, as somebody who went from emulator to console pretty recently, love to see Raisn having a lot of success and putting up a time that is in the top 10. I think that is super, super impressive. Obviously, any world record in Super Mario 64 is a very impressive feat, regardless of the platform that you're doing it on. Shout out VC runners. But yeah, I mean, 3 console PBs here for Raisn, the 145.40, the 143.09, and of course, Raisin's final time, the 140.56. Super impressive. It is not easy to switch from emulator to console and just immediately do this well. Like, it is not easy at all.
So you said you recently switched. Have you done this well with your runs?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely have like a 140 for sure. Definitely.
You just chose not to compete in pace.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, definitely not struggling to get a 17 and no BLJ. Definitely not struggling to do that.
That's 16 star. That's a whole different. Come on, short category mentality. You don't have that. You're the marathon runner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, 70 stars would go okay. But yeah, Raisn, I'm not entirely sure on their controller setup or anything, like when they were playing on emulator. I'm not super familiar with like their runs in that aspect. So I don't know if Raisn was playing on an OEM before he switched to console. I don't know if they were playing on like a controller that was notchless. Like, I don't really know. But assuming that they were not playing on an OEM, this is very impressive. But even if they were, also still very impressive. I love that Raisn is out here putting some top times on the board, putting himself in a position to qualify. So definitely love that for Raisn.
Couldn't agree more. And to your point, you know, we joke about emulator and VC, you know, but like you said, if you're performing at a top level on any platform, you are a top runner in the game. And I think, you know, people joke about it all the time. I do think sometimes that can be forgotten. And it's cool to see Raisn just show that, no, of course, you know, if you're a world record holder on emulator, you're really good at the game. Like, it doesn't matter that, you know, you're not necessarily used to the lag reductions or whatever. You can learn those just like any other skill. And Raisn comes out here and just drops some unbelievable times, 3 really, really good times, including, to your point, the top 10 times. So, I mean, just GG's, Raisn. You killed it this weekend. I cannot wait to see what you're able to do across the next 2 qualifiers. It would be sweet to see you sneak into the top 7. Would love to get to see you compete live in your first, you know, what would that be, like 5 months? Your first 6 months on console?
Yeah, something like that. It would be an incredible feat for sure. But I think if anybody is capable of doing such a thing, I think Raisn could be the person. Just an incredibly talented player, and loved seeing Raisn put up times like this weekend. Definitely killed it. So definitely agree with you on that one, Geo. He smashed it. That's the only way to put it.
Smashed it. Absolutely crushed it. GG's. Can't wait to see more. Next storyline. I'm thinking Dowsky's PB.
Definitely.
Dowsky gets a PB. I'm looking up now. I probably should have done this before. When Dowsky's last PB was 9 months ago, it says. It was a 139.31. Dowsky PBs by 8 seconds this time. A PB at a live event is the best. You can't beat it. You love to see it. It's what everyone lives for. I loved it. What'd you think of it?
I think, I was obviously a very big fan of it. I was actually in the booth when Dowsky got his PB, and, the storyline's amazing. Dowsky, obviously a very, very good short category runner, 0, 1, and 16 star, very accomplished in all 3 of those categories. The run was definitely 138 capable, very, very comfy 138 capable. But who knows, if Dowsky wants to throw some Carpetless action in there, I don't know, we could be talking about a 137 from Dowsky. But yeah, incredible run. It was a very, very hype moment. You could see it in his own chat on screen from his own stream. People were hyped up. People in the GSA chat were hyped up. It was a good moment. It was great to see. It was really cool to be in the booth for as well.
All right, so a slight tangent. I want to focus on you being in the booth there. Did you nail the call?
I hope so. I felt like I was getting hyped up. I was raising the volume. I was up here. I was like, Dowsky landing, throw number, I was getting hyped up, man. I think I nailed it.
No, I think you crushed it. Honestly, that might be the highlight over the PB itself. The call was, you crushed it. You crushed everything in the booth. Thank you. You did a great job. Awesome that you got to see it live. To your point too, it is just so fun to see these short category, these short kings, as some people refer to them.
Nice. I love that.
And Dowsky, not only one of the best short category, the short kings, Dowsky was a triple crown holder. That's not a thing anyone has ever called the 3 categories before. But I'm really in this like monarchy theme right now, so I'm gonna just beat it like a dead horse. He had the triple crown, the 0, 1, and 16 star world records. I don't remember when that was. It was 2019 maybe?
It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Was it not? I don't know. Somebody correct us in the comments.
Yeah, please.
Please. Multiple people correct us. Even if somebody corrected us already, add another comment to correct us.
Yeah. Reply to that correction with another correction.
And then tweet the link to the video on Twitter and say we're idiots because we messed this up.
Please go for it.
Can you imagine? That'd be horrible if you did that. Don't put us on blast.
No. Oh, it's Jover, man. It's so Jover.
It's so Jover. No, but GG's Dowsky. It's awesome. To PB without Carpetless too. I'm sure his. Well, yeah, no. If he PB'd 9 months ago, that would not be with Carpetless. So a true PB, not just because of the new trick, but legitimately playing better than he played before, which is really cool to see. Who knows? Add in Carpetless, maybe we're looking at, to your point, a 137 here with if the cards. I mean, without TTC, the big mistake in TTC where he lost 46 seconds to his PB was because of TTC 100. At one point, he meant to side flip, and I think he jumped before he had turned. It was up by that last, right before the invis wall when you jump down to that platform in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah. So he lost it there. It was kind of a crazy backup. He did like a crazy late wall kick to save, falling down like the entire stage, but it was still a huge time loss. He had to run around and find new coins. So just this unbelievable time loss that is, if that mistake happens earlier in a run, that magnitude of mistake, probably a reset, but because he was on such insane pace, it just goes to show what he's capable of. And if he does start adding in Carpetless, a 137 is not out of the realm of possibility for Dowsky.
Yeah, definitely not. So he's another one of those runners that I'm very excited to see what he's capable of, because Dowsky's been on that grind even outside of these qualifiers. You know, he's been going live all the time, doing 120 attempts. So he is always grinding 120, and I think he can make a pretty big name for himself in the category, and maybe get live on stage at pace as well, get into that top 7. Would definitely love to see that from Dowsky, the Minecraft legend. Yeah, best of luck to him going forward, and yeah, definitely killed it this weekend. It was super great to see.
100% agree. Next storyline, the return of BlueBob.
Huge.
Love it. Just the best. BlueBob also getting a PB, 140.17. At the time it brought him into 6th. Did he finish? He finished in 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So Kally bopped him later on, I think. Yeah, that's right. Because Kally bopped him right at like 5:59, I think, right before the reset period ended. But a tremendous run from BlueBob. He was minus 40 out of TTM, and then kind of slowly bled time over the rest of the run. But still locked in a 3.8 second PB, 4 second PB, we'll call it. Let's round up. Why not?
We'll give it to him.
Yeah, we'll give it to him. And that is, BlueBob took a pretty extended break from the game for a while, but his last PB was, according to speedrun.com, August 30th, 2022. So almost a year and a half, year and 5 months-ish we're looking at. So that's awesome to see after that kind of break, to see him come back. He's been working hard, RTA, stage RTAs and stuff in preparation for these qualifiers. So I love to see that. He's a tremendous dude. Taught me Carpetless, which is crucial for a 16-star runner.
Yes, exactly.
It's just the time save potential there is just too good to pass up.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. BlueBob is just super nice guy. Literally one of the nicest guys in the Mario community. Always up to help somebody out. And, you know, BlueBob, the famous tutorials on YouTube, the beginner tutorials. So he is definitely a very accomplished runner in SM64. And I was actually in BlueBob's chat. I can't remember if it was the day before the qualifiers or if it was a couple days before, but I asked him, and I was like, do you kind of have like a goal time for the qualifiers? Just like, you know what, we'll take that kind of time. And he didn't really give an exact figure, but he was just kind of like, oh, I'll take like good enough. Like, I just want to play good enough, you know, like maybe trying to be humble. Maybe he knew he was going to come out here and pop out with a PB, and just wanted to be a little bit humble. But yeah, I think it's amazing for BlueBob to come out here and like you said, not having PB'd in a while and kind of taking a break from a game, or from the game rather, just to come out here again, play better than he's ever played. It's incredible to see, and BlueBob definitely deserves it. He's a grinder, knows a lot about the game. He's very talented, so definitely love that for BlueBob.
Love to see it. Hopefully Bob can keep performing. Would love to see him qualify, obviously in a qualifying position at this point. A huge 9 points to get, but would love to see him keep collecting those points in future qualifiers.
Definitely.
And then the last storyline, well, the last part of this section that I had highlighted, is Kally on basically the last run. I initially wrote that in my notes. Like I said before, Kally finished the 139.51 at like 5:59 Eastern, like truly 1 minute to go with resets. I think the people in the booth at the time even said, you know, that's going to be it for Kally. No more time to reset. And then Kally still went on to reset. And then I think lost a low 139 pace. That run ended up being a low 139 pace into Carpetless, I think, but wasn't able to hit Carpetless. So just so consistent from Kally. Did end up beating Beast by 4 frames, I think it was, which is just
no time
crazy.
at all.
Yeah,
Actually crazy.
I mean, nuts that we saw it that close. Notably, that run, the 139.51, did not have Carpetless. So it'll be interesting. We'll obviously talk to Kally more about this and kind of why he chose to go for Carpetless when he did, what factors went into that decision. But I did think it was interesting that he was clearly deliberate with it, and he changed by run, it seemed, when he was going to go for Carpetless and when he wasn't. But we'll get some more insight hopefully when we talk to him.
I mean, I'm excited to talk to Kally just to kind of see his mentality and how he kind of approached the whole weekend. Same thing with Cheese and Beeve as well. But, you know, Kally he's a grinder. He is absolutely a grinder. He practices and practices and practices and, you know, does a lot of unique stuff in the game. So would definitely love to see kind of how he approaches being on pace and, you know, dealing with the timer and everything and the reset deadline. Like, definitely would love to get his mentality on that.
Completely agree. And Kally's been just such a rock star, I feel like, over the past couple of paces. Looking at, you know, fall and summer last year, came in 4th in both of them, just off the podium, missed the podium by 9 seconds during the summer pace finals, and then missed it by 14 seconds, I think, during the fall pace. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. In the comments below, like and share. But no, Kally's been so rock solid, right in the middle of the pack in each of those finals. And so it'll be really cool. You know, would love to see him qualify again, obviously. And then who knows, it'd be awesome to see him rise up to claim a podium spot this year. But we'll talk to him more about all of that, past performances and how he feels about these first round of qualifiers later on. A little sneak peek.
Little intrigue. Stay tuned.
Little intrigue. All right, this next section we can, you know, unless you have any difference of opinion about how to approach it, it's kind of like a graveyard. It's like a pretty sad section. It's all of the what could have been runs. Anyone who speed runs this game, I'm sure you've played that game with yourself where you lose a pacer and you just think about what could have been.
Yep. All the time.
I've done it too many times.
Way too many times. For me.
Too many times.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
taken years off my life, honestly.
I noticed a couple grays when I woke up this morning, a couple gray hairs. I was like, man, that run I lost really did a number on me.
At least yours is graying. Mine just falls out.
Oh no.
Oh man. No, so this is you know, we can kind of just pop through these, but Punkay, obviously not, it didn't affect him too much because he ended up in 3rd, really strong position to qualify, and knowing how consistent he is, I think it's fair to say it would be pretty surprising if he's not able to qualify for the finals. I think we all expect to see him there. But he did lose a 134, a 130. Zeas, you're like, well, Geo, what were you watching?
Geo was watching the TAS qualifiers.
Well, TAS came in 1st, I think, these qualifiers, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. It seems like it.
Punkay lost a 138.14 best possible time in Rainbow Ride. I usually note, I don't remember the specific run, I usually note if it was to Carpetless, and I did not note that here, so I actually don't think this was to Carpetless. But then he also lost later a 137.51 best possible time. This one was to Carpetless. So 139.11 obviously is, you know, it was great. It came in 3rd, but I think it's probably safe to say we'll expect to see better times from Punkay. Even better times, I should say. I don't want to make it seem like a 139.11 is like chump change.
Oh, for sure.
I think we'll see even better times from Punkay in the next qualifiers, and I think he, you know, there's no reason he can't win this whole thing, depending kind of on how Weegee plays.
Yeah, Weegee is definitely the biggest wild card. Just because if Weegee's on, it's going to be very hard for other people to take first place unless they're matching that energy, which it's going to be tough. But, you know, I think someone like Cheese, the live event plot armor that Cheese infamously always has to clutch out those last second runs, I don't know, maybe Cheese could do it. But Punkay also definitely very capable of putting up those times. So yeah, we're gonna have to see, and many others as well. Not even just those 3, but definitely many other runners.
The next kind of graveyard, or we can call it a tombstone. Why not? Let's just really stick with this theme of graveyards. These didn't matter too much either because we already talked about BlueBob already ended up getting the PB, but early, this was Saturday. I think later in the day Saturday, but it was early in the qualifiers. It was the first day. BlueBob lost a 140-17, which is the exact PB he ended up getting. That's so funny. I just realized that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's wild. I guess it was meant to be.
It was written in the stars, man.
The universe's way of correcting it. But he lost a 140-17 best possible time in Sky. He walked off the course after, I'm trying to think of which red coin it is. I think it's the 4th. It's the one up on those like the slopes, and you have like the little flame spitter. Mm-hmm. And you're the proper movement to grab it is you do a side flip through it, and he just kind of missed the side flip and just ended up walking off the stage. Oh. That was heartbreaking to see.
Absolutely heartbreaking. That is very tough.
It is. It's so tough. It's a mistake that I, in my limited 120 experience have made. But obviously it's just kind of like one of those that you don't frequently see 120-star runners make. And it's certainly one that I'm sure he's not used to making. So it's just one of those kind of weird flukes that catches you by surprise. And you hate to see it, but like I said, it worked out. He got the time anyway, which is awesome.
Yeah, definitely great for BlueBob. Great performances.
The two that hurt a little more, in Tippy, he also lost a 139.33 and a 139.35. Those are best possible times. But I think honestly that just goes to show capability, right? Like, yeah, he got a PB, and that's awesome, but I don't think he's done. I think he's got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ever really count BlueBob out, right? Like he's showing flashes of being able to drop that 139, maybe get a 138 at some point. Just doesn't let the graveyard runs get to him, the tombstone runs get to him too much. Then he can definitely pop out here, but either before or during the next qualifiers with a mid 139. So definitely looking forward to see what BlueBob can pull out in the near future for sure.
So we calling this? Is this like a comeback kid situation? Is that the cliche we can stamp on BlueBob?
Are we giving BlueBob comeback player of the year right now? Is that?
I don't think we can give it away yet, but I mean, I think people are talking about it.
He's the top candidate right now for comeback player of the year for sure.
Yeah, he's the DeMar Hamlin. He's the leader for sure right now.
100%. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if Xxyyzzmw decides to come back at some point, which actually, you know what, we have a few words to say about Xxyyzzmw in maybe a few moments here.
Is Sig already back? A little teaser.
He might be. He might be. We don't know. We'll talk about it. But no, BlueBob comeback player of the year. Just to give a little sports analogy. Definitely in the top spot. He's killing it right now.
Sports analogy. Are you saying speedrunning's not a sport?
Anyway, so moving on to no, speedrunning's a sport. Speedrunning's absolutely a sport, and it should be an Olympic event. Change my mind.
Agreed.
Esport.
No,
Olympic
I'm
esports.
there with you. Let's lobby for that.
Let's go. I'm down.
Perfect. Next on the graveyard list, I have Beast. Beast had some great runs. BeastAssassin still performed so well. And I love to see it. I love that Beast is playing well. Still ended up in a 6th place time. So it worked out, and you don't have to be too sad about these, but Beast did lose a 139.16 best possible time in bits. It died to, I remember this. It was the jump to the 3rd coin, that little platform that sticks out where you do the jump and then the stall kick. I think that from what I remember, the beginning was just a little shaky. And you know how when you make, one mistake and all of a sudden your whole rhythm is thrown off, and it's like you're playing, it's like everything you practice is out the door, and it's like sight reading in music almost. And you're just kind of like flying by the seat of your pants. That's kind of what it felt like happened. He just got knocked off his normal rhythm. And so it just messed up, the angle, I think, and the timing for that jump stall kick. But like I said, I mean, he still ended up in 6th place. He still ended up scoring, what is that? That's 10 points.
It's pretty good.
So that's a great showing from Beast, and it's very possible we'll see Beast qualify again, which is great. I love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, Beast was I kind of mentioned this on comms too. Beast was kind of a surprise qualifier, I feel like, for the last summer pace. I personally had never like seen much of BeastAssassin. Never really like watched his runs or anything, but when I saw that he qualified for pace, and I was like, oh my god, like this guy is like cracked, like holy shit, like he's a really good Mario player. And you know, ever since that summer pace, he has just dropped his BB. I want to say he had a 140 at the time, and now he has the 138. So he's been on that grind, and he's just a very good Mario player. Definitely one of my favorites to qualify for sure, regardless of the position. Just coming in the top 7. Would definitely love to see BeastAssassin back up there on the stage in Laurel, Maryland.
I couldn't agree more. I'm a Beast stan. I hope he qualifies. The video I saw, I didn't attend pace last year, but the video I saw of him PBing right at the very end, I think it was the last run of the whole event.
Yep.
And then I think it was his parents were there. Is that right?
Yeah, his parents were there. I'm not sure if more of his family was there, but his parents were definitely there.
I love that so much. Somebody sent me the video they took, and you can see his parents celebrate with him.
Yeah.
And it's like my favorite video of all time. I'm obsessed with it. I love it so much. I want Beast to qualify so badly. I need more of that.
We need
as
more
a storyline guy.
As storyline guys, we need this to happen. We need this to happen. I definitely love that video. I was there for it. Not to sound like a Twitch chatter, but I was there in the crowd when that happened, and it was a super great moment. And you know, Beast family with the BeastAssassin shirts on, and it was amazing. It was amazing. We need more of that. We need more of that for sure.
Yeah, no, I need a lot more of that. Moving on to the next. Do you want to? The next one, I have a note about Kally, but we can talk. We'll dive more into Kally stuff during his interview. Because the one after that, I want to talk about a little more. And you and I previewed it before we started recording just a little bit. But DWhatever, a bit of a tough weekend, obviously, but you know, lost a 140.18 best possible time to Carpetless. That would have put him in right behind BlueBob, so it would have put him in 8th place for 8 incredibly valuable points. Unfortunately, didn't come away with anything in a scoring position. So Denner, I think we said this during the standings too, Denner is sitting down at 22. You can't count him out, obviously, but it's tough to see him lose that kind of run and not really be able to come up with anything else comparable, because he is such an incredibly talented player, and you know he can do it. But that's just kind of the nature of these LTA style events, right? It's not really about your PB.
Right.
You have to have a run that you know, a good run during this restricted time period, which makes it so tough.
You know, it is really just kind of tough to see, and I'm a DWhatever fan myself. You know, Denner was one of the first 70-star runners I watched, so definitely would love to see him, you know, kind of pop out and improve, and yeah, to lose that run and to kind of be limited in that time space, like to know that you have limited time to reset, and even though it is a lot of time, I can imagine it's pretty tough on the mental sometimes, especially when you might have higher expectations for yourself than what actually ended up happening. Definitely unfortunate for DWhatever, but I have full faith that he will be back up in these standings and won't miss a beat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also a huge a Denner fan. He was one of the first streams I watched in general. I think he was one of the first, maybe the first like big, you know, top runner that I started watching. He's just an incredible dude also. You know, one of those that like as good of a runner as he is, he's just like a better guy. So he just like naturally makes you want to root for him. You want to see those kinds of people succeed. So really hoping we have he has a bit more luck in the second and third qualifiers, because I want to see him do well. It's just so fun to root for him.
Absolutely. Very, very much easy to root for DWhatever. So I'm in that same boat. I definitely want to see him succeed for sure.
Looking at my notes, I mean, are there any others that you want to hit? maybe we touch on JQ.
Yeah, we could touch on JQ a bit for sure.
JQ ended up in 9th, getting a 140.34. Just missed PBing. I was like, I feel like I know I just watched this. I feel like I'm overloaded with runs from the weekend. But I know I just watched this because this was later in the day, Sunday. But yeah, JQ ending with a 140.34. It was PB pace. Did I even note this in my notes? I probably should have just kept reading. Yeah, I literally wrote all this down. I could have saved us so much time. We're so professional.
We are.
The height of content. But yeah, he was best paced throughout upstairs and tippy, which is why this hurt so much. Because I mean, he was really cruising. Obviously an incredibly talented player himself. You mentioned earlier, 47 in 70 star. That's right. He got the firstie on the window wall kick for Carpetless.
Yep.
That mistake. That whole section is so unbelievably stressful to watch. I'm just like full on clenched, everything clenched in my body, watching people approach that window because it's just there's so much opportunity for everything to go wrong. And then you get to the window and it's like, okay, now we can start the actual trick. Like the trick hasn't even started yet.
Exactly. And I was kind of thinking this when, people were really first grinding down, the RTA viable carpetless X cams. I was like, man, this window is going to kill more runs than carpetless itself. Like, firsties are already, they already come out whenever you don't want them to. They will rear their ugly head whenever you don't want them. Kind of amazing that Mario 64 is the only game on planet Earth to penalize you for being too good at pressing a button quickly.
Yep.
But yeah, the firstie on the window, it's tough, and I feel like it's just gonna happen. It's just one of those things that it's gonna happen. You gotta get used to it. But yeah, JQ, the 139 arc for JQ is very, very real. He's another one of those runners that is always on the grind, and to be on best pace throughout upstairs and tippy is incredible for a live event. So the JQ 139, it's real, man. It's happening.
Let's see it I would love to see it in qualifiers. It would be great to see just on the window point again too. It's to kind of compare it, you have to get a second or third frame wall kick, I think. And obviously if it's a third frame, I think your angle has to be even more precise than the second frame gives you a little more leeway, but you're dealing with the same window for like side hop and 16 star, which is, it's not the hardest star in the run. Obviously people do like flag eye lists at the top level, whatever, but it's still like very challenging. Like people mess that up all the time. And so, I mean, just kind of underscores how difficult that approach to that window is in carpetless before you even start, all the pause buffering, crazy, task generated shit that has developed in that trick.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, there's no doubt it's just an unfortunate part of that trick is we're just going to see runs die before you even get a true attempt at carpetless. But I guess it adds to the excitement, right? I guess that's how you have to spin it.
Yeah, it adds a lot of intrigue to the just to every tippy, to every rainbow ride, and kind of like what you alluded to, it's the trick before the trick. The window's tough. The window is very tough, and the trick itself is tough. The window's tough. Everything about carpetless is hard, Geo. I'm just
so hard. It's just so brutal.
I'm trying to find different ways to say it, but carpetless is hard.
And it's really so hard. Cruel. I mean, this isn't like, none of this is novel. People have talked about this probably ad nauseum already throughout the community, but like in the fact that it's the best case scenario, it comes like an hour and 35 minutes or an hour 36 if you do it first in the stage, whether you do it first in Rainbow Ride or last, like it's deep in the run. It's the second to last stage. Like, That's so cruel. It's just so cruel.
So let me ask you this. I'm sure we'll ask, Cheese and Beeve and Kally how they feel about this, but let me get your take as from a couple people who don't do carpetless in runs.
Really valuable opinions.
Would you exactly? Would you be a carpetless first or a carpetless last kind of person? if
So
you were on
I
pace
think
to Rainbow Ride.
I think Karina Nana tweeted out this exact question recently, and there were some insightful replies, Kally being one of them. So to diversify the content, because I assume when we ask him, he will give this answer. I'll take the opposite approach, even though I kind of agree with him. I would probably do it first. I apply this rationale to every single stage I do pretty much. I'm also a short category runner, a short king, if you will. And in real life, I actually am.
Love it, love it, love it.
I always put the hardest star first, because if you mess it up, then you theoretically save that little bit of time and you can reset faster. You don't need to waste your time with the easy stuff. But like I apply that to Womps, for example. I'm doing Salt class first, and then I'm doing Owlus, and then in SSL I'm doing Plus first, because if I'm the odds are highest I'm going to mess up on those, so I may as well kind of find out if I need to reset then.
Mm-hmm.
What is your take?
I'm also kind of inclined to agree with the carpetless first mentality, because I'm kind of the same way. I think a lot of runners are also the same way. They like to get the hardest stuff out of the way first. And, it's just one of those things where maybe it's a feel thing. Like, maybe I would just, I know a lot of people have individual splits. They have carpetless and Rainbow Ride separated as separate splits. But I think maybe I would leave Rainbow Ride as a 119 split and just be like, okay, am I feeling good about carpetless right now? Am I feeling bad about it? So maybe if I'm not feeling super great about it, I would do it first. But I don't know, maybe if I'm feeling confident in my carpetless, maybe I'm like, okay, I'll get the rest of Rainbow Ride out of the way. I'm feeling good about this trick. I'll go for it last, just to end it on a high note,
Yeah, but I mean, I think there really are good reasons behind each one, and like I said, we should definitely ask Kally this question, because Kally does go for it last, and his reasoning was really thought out. But I'll save that for him to share. But I don't know. I could see either side, honestly. Like, I think it's also tough, to your point. Like, we don't run 120. Like, I'm not doing carpetless. This is not a call that I actually have to make.
Not yet. Hey, not yet. We'll get there, Geo. Don't worry.
True.
We'll climb the mountain.
120 arc down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we shout out PBs?
Oh, yes. There's one thing we need to touch on, Geo.
Hit me.
There is a mystery figure amongst us, shrouded in secrecy.
Oh, yeah.
There is a runner by the name of Xxyyzzmw, I believe. And the account was made on January 28th. So the Sunday.
January 28th.
January 28th. That is today, as of recording this video.
Zeas, are you telling me this person is competing and getting 145s on their first day ever?
They might be. They might be. They might just be the prodigal runner of Mario 64. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but you know what I mean.
You nailed it.
We don't know who this person is. We don't know who this mystery runner is, and they're out here, putting up like mid 140s, getting on good paces. It's obviously an alt, right? Like, it's got to be.
I mean, yeah, no, it's for sure an alt. There's literally no way you can't convince me otherwise. This is an alt, obviously. I mean, 20th place, not scoring points, but 145 is an outrageous time. You obviously don't get that, by just like stepping into the game.
For sure.
But who is it? You did a little digging. You have a tweet clue.
Yes.
Right?
So I saw a tweet from Kano, who is apparently taking a little bit of a Mario break right now, which, understandable. Kano is always on that grind, doing Stream Unlimited, just grinding out, RTAs and grinding out PB attempts. But Kano tweeted about the name of that account, and all Kano said he typed the name out. He typed Xxyyzzmw with like an arrow pointing to it and just said bad name or like horrible name or something like that. So
you're thinking that's like a throw him off the scent.
Maybe. I don't know if this is just commentary from Kano, if anyone actually figured out if it was Kano or not, but Kano could be a pick. I'm not exactly sure what Kano's 120 PB is.
I just pulled it up. It's a 139.10, so that probably cuts against it. But we don't need to let these facts get in the way of our storylines. I just want to clarify.
That's very true. That's very true. So it could be Kano. It could be.
We threw another one out. During our little preview. And honestly, it was when you mentioned the tweet, I was like, okay, we should talk about it. And then you threw out this other theory, and I was like, okay, we got to stop talking about it now so we can get our takes out live. Who else do you think it could be?
I don't know, man. What if it's Xxyyzzmw?
Oh my God, he
returns. What if it is Xxyyzzmw? What if he's just like, man, you know what? There's this really hype community event going on. I've been like MIA for however long Xxyyzzmw's been MIA for.
Like 9 years.
He I believe his last PB was a 142, 143, somewhere in that range.
143.53.
143.53. He's out. This mystery runner is out here putting up mid 140s.
I mean, yeah, we could say that's a minute and a half of rust? 10 years? Sure. Why not? I didn't see any of I don't remember any of the specific tricks that Xxyyzzmw. Can we go XX? Can we go with XX?
We could say that. We could say XYZ. I know I think B was referring to them as XYZ on comms.
Well, we don't need to play this game anyway. I don't know what strat Xxyyzzmw was doing. But what if Xxyyzzmw is just running it back, doing the 10-year-old route, same strats. Dude actually didn't even know Carpetless existed until this tournament.
He's just been locked away. He's just like didn't see the light of day for Mario 64 until today, and his whole worldview is just shifted. It's like, oh my God, we joked about this for so long.
He thinks it's a meme.
Oh yeah, he still thinks it is. He's like, man, these runs are spliced, surely, right? Like these aren't real.
Yeah. He's probably, I mean, by this point, he's got to be old man yelling at clouds too, right? Like, oh, in my day, we didn't do Carpetless. That's not the kind of trick you actually put into a run.
Yeah, exactly. That's never going to be RTA viable.
Where's the decorum?
But I don't know, Geo. I mean, there's so much mystery behind it. And the interesting thing is this XYZ runner didn't do any runs in the first day. They only competed today. So
are we thinking there's a chance this person ran on their main on the first day?
There's a chance, but like, why would you split it up? Like maybe you just want more opportunities to control the leaderboard. Who knows? Is this like a mental game? Is this a strategy? Like,
true.
Nobody knows what's going on. True. I even inquired in the chat during the last runs of today, and I was like, so have we figured out who this is? And everybody was like, nope, no one figured it out. No one knows who this is.
All right, we got to get our best detectives on this. We gotta hire a PI. We gotta get to the bottom of this.
We need answers. The people need answers.
I feel like collectively the community can figure this one out, right?
There's got to be clues. There's got to be little hints here and there.
I mean, we can break down the
gameplay.
Video. That's exactly what I was going to say. The next step, obviously, we break down gameplay.
We got to hit the film room. We got to watch the film. We got to start comparing.
I love watching game film.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know, Geo. Do you have any guesses as to who this mystery figure could be?
No, I mean, I'm kind of like looking at the leaderboard. What if it's Zufi? Zufi's got a 143.32 because it's, probably their PB is going to be around like a 145, maybe a little lower, right?
Surely.
I mean, I guess they could have dropped a PB, so like maybe you're looking a little higher. But somebody who's like not wanting to make a true return, why else would you run under an alt?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking too, and somebody in chat was like, kind of alluded to kind of the same thing, like, you know, maybe there's obviously a reason they're running on an alt, like they don't want anybody to like make a big deal about the fact they're, you know, running 120 or whatever.
Yeah.
So
what about okay, I got two more for you.
Okay.
Clint Stevens, 146.16 on SRC.
Okay. Perhaps.
I mean, it would have been a true PB.
It would have been.
But that could be pretty pog. Or one of the goats of the game, Mr. Speedrun.
Oh, shit. You know what?
146.47, so it would have been a pretty big PB.
People always, I feel like it's kind of a joke in a lot of Mario 64 chats, especially some runners who have been around for a minute. It's always like, oh, where's Mr. Speedrun? What happened to Mr. Speedrun, you know?
This is what happened.
This is what happened. They are now Xxyyzzmw.
Either way, congrats on the PB.
Yeah.
Xxyyzzmw, Mr. Speedrun, Zufi, whoever you are. Well done.
Very good showing. Very good showing.
But yeah, let us know if we have any clues. Let's track this down. Let's get a thread started. Let's get to the bottom of this. Would love to follow this storyline, honestly, throughout qualifiers. Just trying to figure out who this is.
Yeah, 100%. And maybe that's the intent. Maybe this person wants to be shrouded in mystery and wants people to figure it out.
Would love that. That'd be the dream.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we want to try to read off everyone, most of the people who PB'd. Probably we're gonna limit it to the sub 2 hour PBs, I think. I don't know if we have everyone. If not, yell at us in the comments. That's fine. We can take a little bit of heat. You want to just go back and forth, read the runner and then the time?
Yeah, sure. I'm all for it.
All right. Why don't you take the first one because I can't pronounce it.
Classic. All right, first PB we have listed. We have Vitrancio. I'm pretty sure that's going to
you
be
crushed that.
Vitrancio with a 142.45. So GG's on that.
GG's. It's me, Corey. Corey with the 151.42. Well done.
Love to see it. Mr. Froggy, the 148.11 on emulator. Worth pointing out. GG's.
Is it worth pointing out?
Oh, Geo.
Yikes. That's pretty embarrassing. I can't believe you would just shame somebody like that. Platform shaming in 2024. Imagine.
It's been a good run, everybody.
It's even better that you were just reading my notes. I just set you up for that. That was great.
You planned this whole thing out.
Dowsky, we talked about already. 139.23. Well done. That's a hell of a run.
Good shit. Good shit. Jesus, the 146.55.
Bro, Jesus is popping off.
Jesus is going on a run right now, for lack of a better term. Like, he did not have like anywhere near this time like 2 weeks ago. I think he was still in the mid 150s, like mid to low 150s.
I was gonna say, I think that's right. Didn't he just have a 149 or 148 skip?
I believe so. Yeah.
Crazy. I mean,
he's been popping off. Good shit, Jesus. GG's, man.
Well done, Jesus. BlueBob, we talked about 140.17. The comeback kid. Love to see it.
And also talked about this one, Raisn with the 140.57 on console, not on emulator, on console. So GG's, Raisn. Love to see that as well.
You would mention that. Horror does speed runs. 144.06. GG's. Well done on the Peeb.
Is this a different Mr. Froggy?
Nope. Did Mr. Froggy PB twice? Wait, is it a different Mr. Froggy?
Well,
Who
one
took
is
these notes.
one is Mr. Froggy. One's written as Mr. Froggy with no underscore, and then the second one is Mr. Froggy with an underscore between the Mr. and the Froggy. So did Mr. Froggy get 2 PBs?
Or are we dealing? Is Mr. Froggy that popular of a name that we actually have 2 floating around the community? No, it's got to be the same one.
Well, not only did Mr. Froggy get a 148.11, apparently also got a 150.11 prior to that. So a lot of PB improvement from Mr. Froggy here this weekend.
Well done, Mr. Froggy, or Mr. Froggies. Who knows? Phoenix, AUS, Australia. Are we thinking?
I'm
repping
thinking
the
so.
country.
I'm thinking so.
Well done on a 153.39.
We have Mutants Abyss with a 158.41. GG's.
And then finally, Xxyyzzmw with the 145.26 D-Rust PB. Well done, GG Sig.
Good shit, man. Good shit. Well done. Love to see it. Welcome back.
Love to see it. Before we wrap up, we're going to do a little bit of a prediction tournament here. Zeas and I are going to go back and forth. We're going to predict who we think our 7 qualifiers are going to be. And whoever... Well, let me back up. At the end of this, at the end of finals, Zeas and I are going to race in 120 star. Maybe have a few bevies in there, but the kicker, whoever does worse on these predictions, gets fewer of the qualifiers right. We'll have to have a few extra bevies. Probably going to slow you down during a race. I don't know. We'll find out. But we need help, right, Zeas? We need to know, what does the loser of that race have to do? What's the punishment? You know, what's a race if there are no stakes, right?
Yeah, I mean, you need a little bit of intrigue to go along with it, and I think we have a lot of creative people in the Mario community that can help us come up with a punishment for the loser. So we need your help for sure. Sound off in the comments. Smack that like button. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you want the loser to do for this race, and I don't know, maybe we'll use that idea.
Tweet the link out. Ask for other people to watch and come up with their own ideas. Really lay it on us, all right? Make us suffer. That's what we're here for.
We're content creators. This is what we do.
This is what
Anything
we do.
for content. Anything for content.
Anything for content. All right, Zeas, you want to kick it off? Let's just go. You do your 1, I'll do my 1. 2, 2, 3, 3.
All right, that sounds fair to me. My number 1 spot, I think we might be sharing this. I think we might be mutual on this one. I'm going with Weegee for my number 1 spot. Oh, yeah, no, I meant to say Xxyyzzmw for sure.
True.
But no, Weegee in the number 1 spot. I think it's a safe pick.
That's a pretty risky pick there. I'm surprised you're taking such a chance on that one. I'm going to go Weegee too, obviously. It'll be interesting to see, but I think with this new mentality and with the level he's playing at, obviously, look, we have a few months, so who knows? A lot could change. But yeah, I'm with Weegee.
Love to see it. Number 2 slot for me. Give me Kally in the number 2 spot.
Wow, I love that. I love that pick.
Give me Kally in the number 2 spot. I think Kally's due. He is due for a podium finish, and I think he's gonna get it this year.
I love it. I'm gonna differ from you. I'm gonna go with Punkay, king of consistency. He's been so solid in all of these LTAs. We saw what he was capable of with some of those lost runs. Punkay's gonna qualify number 2.
All right. Hey, I love it. I love that pick because my number 3 pick was actually Punkay.
There it is.
I kind of agree with your mentality. Consistency king. He's great at what he does, and he's been very successful in these LTAs, like you said. So I think he's a solid choice for me for number 3.
Great pick. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Cheese. Cheese has been playing well. Obviously, a legend, the GOAT. It's a pretty safe pick. But there's a reason it's a safe pick. It's because he always performs.
Absolutely. And, like we mentioned earlier, the LTA plot armor is real. So, I think Cheese has a pretty good opportunity to finish top 3. But Cheese is going to be my number 4 pick, just behind Punkay for this year. I have a lot of respect for Cheese as a runner. Somebody who I watched a lot from the beginning of getting into Mario, and I know how he can play and how he performs under pressure. I just think that someone like Kally stealing number 2 for me. I think Kally has a lot that he wants to prove. So I think Cheese is a very comfy pick at number 4.
I like it. I'm between 2 people for this, and I'm trying to make up my mind right now. I think I could go either way, but I'm gonna go with Kally at number 4 based on what I've seen recently. And I don't think it's. I think he'll podium at finals. I think he's gonna qualify at 4 though.
All right, I love to see it. Love to see it. Number 5. Ooh. Give me BeastAssassin at number 5.
I like it. I like that pick a lot.
BeastAssassin at 5. Definitely more capable than what his PB indicates. And, I think it's just really hard because ordering these is a tough choice. Just because all of these runners that we're listing, they're so capable of doing better than what we're listing them at. It's tough, but, BeastAssassin, number 5, qualifying at number 5. I'll lock that one in.
Great I like play. It. This was I was actually between Kally and this one for my number 4 pick, but with Dowsky's PB without Carpetless today, I think if he learns Carpetless and he has the time to do it, I don't know if he actually knows it. He must because it was in his gold. So he knows Carpetless. If he just puts it in runs and all he has to do is land it, I mean he's 138, 137 capable. So I think he's going to pop off in these next few months. Dowsky at 5.
Nice. Love that. Let's see. Number 6. Number 6 for me. This is really where it starts getting hard. Man.
Yeah.
Give me Gothic Logic at number 6.
Gothic Logic.
Give me Gothic Season at number 6.
Wow, Gothic Season, baby.
I'm not going to call Gothic a sleeper pick because he's obviously a mainstay in the community. Also a very talented player. I think his PB is... did he get a 138 recently?
138.57 2 months ago.
138.57, and that is with Carpetless, I'm assuming.
Let's assume... I don't actually know, but yeah.
I'm going to assume it's with Carpetless. Just because Gothic was one of the very, very early adopters of this RTA Carpetless.
You're right.
Strat. Gothic at number 6. Haven't seen Gothic at a live event in past years, so I want to see Gothic get a chance. I'll take him at number 6.
I love that pick a lot. I was thinking about doing that. I'm between 2 people again. Oh man, this is so tough. I am gonna go with BeastAssassin though, at 6.
Ooh, love to see it. Hey, Beast still qualifying though.
Beast is playing. Beast is grinding. Really good turnout from Beast this weekend. Super consistent. A lot of really good point scoring runs. I don't see why it's not going to continue and maybe even get better. So Beast at 6.
All right, number 7 for me. Give me Dowsky at number 7.
Oh, I forgot you haven't taken Dowsky yet. Wow.
I have not taken Dowsky yet. I think Dowsky has a very good chance to qualify, and obviously it's very hard for us to limit this to just 7 players from this list here.
Yeah.
But we gotta make the picks, and Dowsky just seems like a solid pick. He's obviously improving day by day, and the PB from this weekend definitely proves that. Give me Dowsky sneaking out the 7 spot.
And so you're saying that anyone you didn't name you think is bad? Is that right?
That is not at all what I'm saying. Do not cancel me on any social medias. I think everybody here is incredible players, but it's tough. We gotta pick 7 people. If I could pick everybody, I would send everyone to Pace if I could, but we can only pick 7. So Dowsky, lock it in at number 7. Those are my picks.
Love it. I am going to look, I'm a storyline guy. I think we've established that. We can't complete the Comeback Kid storyline unless BlueBob locks in this number 7 spot.
True.
BlueBob at 7.
Man, it's tough not to pick
It's
BlueBob.
so tough.
It's so tough not to pick BlueBob.
It's tough, but I didn't pick Gothic, and I'm honestly having some regret about that because I think Gothic has there's no doubt in my mind Gothic, Jaquarium, Raisn, who just got to console, like Beeve also. I mean, there's just like so many people who can qualify.
I just love to see some new names up at pace. I mean,
yeah.
You know, Weegee, Kally, Puncayshun, like, you know, those guys have all been around the block for a minute. BeastAssassin obviously getting some showtime last year.
He's no rookie.
No rookie at all. He has been around the block many a time, and you know, would love to see Gothic and Dowsky pop out at a live event, man. Would love to see it happen.
I'm with you. I love it too. So that wraps up our picks. We have 1 through 7. Sound off in the comments below. We need a punishment for that race. Whoever loses these picks will be at a slight disadvantage, or advantage maybe. I don't know. Probably depends.
We'll see.
Yeah, there's only one way to find out. Tune in. All right. That wraps it up for the content we have for this episode. Do you have anything else you want to share before we sign off?
Man, off the top of my head, I love Mario, and I love the Mario community, and anybody who decides to give this video a watch and share it around, we appreciate it. And yeah, just appreciate everybody tuning in and checking out this video and taking a peek, and excited to make the future episodes.
100% agree. I want to echo that exact sentiment. Thank you so much if you're watching this. We appreciate the support. It means a lot. Like I said, this is a passion project for us. We're really excited about doing this. You know, and we like to put the work into it, to watch, to take notes, to kind of prepare. It's really, really fun. And we hope you like it, because it's a fun way to kind of get back to the community if you're enjoying it. So, you know, if you do like it, let us know. Give it a like, give it a share. We appreciate all the support. But yeah, love Mario, love the community, and can't wait to be back here in a month after the second round of qualifiers.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you all. It's been real. It's been a good first episode of Pace Pals. See you next time.
Bye.
When I got that one through, and I was like, okay, I played really well. Because I did. And then I died like twice in Tippy and lost a bunch of time at the end, which, I mean, let's be real. 70 or 75% of runs that make it to Tippy have a terrible Tippy. Like, it just is what it is. That is Mario, right?
Turns out Tippy's
So,
kind of
like,
hard.